Salakia. Go here. All right. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, as always, I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. All right, double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and taught us this truth through the Holy Spirit. And peace and blessings and salutations to the Lord's hopeful elect. All right, I'm the brother Zion. And Lord willing, this lesson is edifying to feed the sheep and the lambs of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And pretty much coming to you with this lesson, Lord willing, you could be edified. All right. And as you can see from the title of the video, all right, all hell is getting ready to break loose. And that's pretty much a saying that we've always taught through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. That's something we've always believed through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Is the downfall of this society known as America, Babylon the Great. Okay. It's a lot. And pretty much when you go into biblical prophecy, you read about this society collapsing. This is an extension of the fourth beast, the Roman Empire. All right. And we can read about this society's downfall in many different chapters and verses in the Holy Scriptures. That's something that we always bring out week in and week out. And it's inevitable, And a lot of people say, listening to us is like, we say the same things over and over, but that's because we're putting the vibration out there of the destruction. Okay, because remember, we can't receive the kingdom of heaven until this place is taken down. All right, so the kingdom of heaven is not going to be established until this place is taken down. So we have to push that vibration out there constantly. All right, that's why the Lord sent us. Okay, and ultimately, that's why there's going to be no excuse for Jake when these type of things take place. Okay, when society fails, there's going to be no excuse for our people. And remember, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai said judgment must begin at the house of the Most High. All right. So, what are we waiting on? We're waiting on deliverance. We're waiting on our salvation. Okay. We're waiting on Yahweh Shai to come gather his elect. Lord willing, we're of that number. Because we need Yahweh Shai, man. We're nothing without Yahweh Shai. And without this word, without this truth, we're pretty much dead. All right. We're pretty much dead without this word and without this truth, man. So we have to strive, continue to be better, strive to continue to be better servants to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai so we can be delivered when all hell breaks loose. All right. So this is 2nd Ezra chapter 16 and verse 1. It says, "Woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria. Gird up yourselves with cloths of sack and hair. Bewail your children and be sorry, for your destruction is at hand." So when we say that all hell is getting ready to break loose, we're literally speaking about biblical prophecy, man. We're literally speaking about biblical prophecy when we say all hell is getting ready to break loose. Okay? The scriptures tell us what? For your destruction is at hand. And that's talking about this society. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is saving the best for last. Okay? He's letting destruction take place in different parts of the earth, but he's saving Babylon the Great, the best for last, man. It says, "A sword is sent upon you, and who may turn it back? A fire is sent among you, and who may quench it? Plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away? May any man drive away an hungry lion in the woods? Or may anyone quench the fire in the stubble when it have begun to burn? May one turn again the arrow that is shot of a strong archer? The mighty Lord sendeth the plagues, and who is he that can drive them away?" And that's basically something to remember. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai sendeth the plagues, and who is he that can draw them away? Remember, the Lord compares these upcoming events as basically birth pains, man, from a woman that travaileth. And like I said, that means it's inevitable. Nothing is going to stop the plagues when Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai sends them on the earth. And that's something for even us brothers in the truth to think about. Because shit, we want to be, we want to be delivered from these things, man. We want to be delivered from these coming calamities. We want to be delivered from the famines, all right? And different things that the Lord is going to send. We want to be delivered from these different troops, these foreign troops and these military troops, Esau's so-called angels, angels and super soldiers and all these things we're going to see coming down the pipeline, man. We want to be delivered from these things. So we have to stay under the wing of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. It says, a fire shall go forth from his wrath, and who is he that may quench it? He shall cast lightnings, and who shall not fear? He shall thunder, and who shall not be afraid? The Lord shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence? And that's a power to fear. Okay, that's not a power that you should laugh at or take lightly. The scriptures tell us that Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is a man of war. So all that playing around, playing games, thinking that the Lord ain't going to do what he said he's going to do, a lot of people are going to be in for a rude awakening. And this destruction, and when all hell breaks loose, it's going to be so crazy that these people are going to know that there's a power doing it. They're going to know that this is a God that's doing these things, man. And they're going to be crying out, screaming at Jesus and all of these people, these false powers that don't exist, these different idols that they called upon for decades and centuries, and they're not going to answer, man. The only power that exists is Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, the one and only true power. Okay? It says, the earth quaketh and the foundations thereof. The sea ariseth up with waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled, and the fishes thereof also, before the Lord and before the glory of his power. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp, and shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. And that goes into Isaiah, the 13th chapter as well. Okay, 13:5. All right. And that's basically speaking on the seventh trump. Okay. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp and shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the, into the ends of the world. That's that seventh trump. That's the thermonuclear destruction that's going to take place. But the all hell that's breaking loose that we're talking about is going to happen before that, man. It's going to happen way before that, Behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. The fire is kindled and shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth. Like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer returneth not backward, even so the plagues shall be sent upon the earth, shall not return again. Woe is me, who shall deliver me in those days? The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? So the only answer to that is to remain faithful to the Lamb. Okay, the scriptures say, these are they that follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. So literally the only answer to that is to follow the Lamb, man. Follow Yahweh Shai. Because remember, I always quote the scripture. The Lord said, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. Okay, so the only way to come out of these plagues, the only way to come out of these sorrows and famines and great death and wars, right, and evils to come is to stay under the wing and follow the Lamb. Okay, stay under the wing of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Don't go left. Don't get swayed left. Stay to the right. Because I'll tell you, brothers. I've been kind of like in a little spiritual slump, but that's Yahweh Bashim Yahushai testing you, man, to see if you're gonna seek him even more and more, or you're gonna just continue to wallow in your sorrow, so to speak. And I've noticed throughout the years that I've been in this truth that when you ain't on fire for the spirit of the Lord, if you ain't on fire, you basically, you feel dead, you feel sluggish, you feel you're not lively, when you're not on fire for Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. But when you are on fire for Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, you feel lively, you feel good, you feel like you in the spirit, you rolling, You know, so our job is to stay on fire. That's why it tells us in the book of Revelation, the Lord said that if you're lukewarm and thou art either cold nor hot, I must spew you out of my mouth. You know, being lukewarm is not being on fire for the spirit, you know, going through the motions. So you got to be on fire for Yahweh Shem Shai day in and day out, you know, constantly having your mind on this truth, going hard, man. Or the Lord just ain't gonna deal with you, you know? But sometimes yes, we all need that spiritual boost, that spiritual kick, you know. Shalom. You know, we all need that spiritual, you know, reset, if that's what you want to call it. You know, that doesn't mean like you taking a break or anything, but we need that spiritual reset, that boost, you know, because this society alone will have you in a fucking a slump, you know, dealing with fucking Babylon, man. You know, but sometimes you have to omit certain things in your life as well to, you know, stay on track. You know, I was kind of a little rant, but Salakia, it says, but you know, it all ties back in because we're preparing our minds to be ready for a particular point in society. We're preparing our minds to endure hardness as a good soldier, of good soldiers of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. So, you know, there's obstacles and courses that you go through, you know, and ultimately is all to refine you and to make you better as a man of the Lord, you know, because we're constantly being purged and refined as gold and silver. And the end goal is for us to be perfected. Okay. So it says, verse 19, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor always be mindful of the scourges. And that's the mindset of these people in this society. You got the prophets out there telling you what to do, what's coming, how to prepare, and a lot of them shun us away. It says in the scriptures, it tells us that they misuse the prophets of the Lord, right? So a lot of them are not going to turn from their wickedness. It says, behold, victual shall be so good, cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. And that's what you have now at a very, very high capacity. You have the sword, famine, and great confusion upon the earth, man. You know, a lot of people are still in the mindset of folly, you know, doing what they want to do, you know, still participating in wickedness on a very, very high level. You know, a lot of people are in the mindset of we need to seek the Lord. You know, there's more people that are in a folly state of mind that's constant. Like right now, it's the NBA playoffs, you know, which I'm a big NBA guy. You know, I'll show you brothers real quick. You know, the NBA playoffs is on, right? You know, and I like to watch a lot of basketball and sports, and I've been keeping up with it, you know. But I knew that in my spirit, you know, I'm like, yo, I have to do a lesson tonight, you know. It's been a couple of days since I even did a lesson, so and the spirit was kind of was getting on my ass, like, yo, you need to do a lesson, you know. And I wasn't really feeling my best for like 2 days. I was in a spiritual slump, and I'm like, damn. But I was watching this game before I had dropped my kids off, and on the way back to the house, I was like, man, I gotta mute this damn TV, sit down and do a lesson, you know. And that's the spirit will let you know, when you need to get on your shit. You know, we should always be on our deen, but you know, a lot of times, you know, you get checked in the spirit, and the Lord will let you know, hey, feed my sheep, you know, and you ain't got no choice, you know, because if you live in fear, you're gonna do what the Lord says, man. I don't give a damn who you are. If you live in fear, you're gonna do what Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai tells you to do in the spirit, man. All right. So back to the precept. It says, "For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger." Salaki, let me read that again. "For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy." So, in other words, it's really no getting away. It's really no getting away from Yahweh Shem Yahshua. If you escape the famine, all right, and the hunger, then the sword is going to destroy you. And the sword is basically representative of Esau, Edom, his military, okay, his angels on the left hand side. All right, like I said, foreign troops, FEMA troops, Gurkha troops, uh, his different angels of light he's gonna use to fight against Yahweh Shem Yahushai. You know, um, it says, "And the dead shall be cast out as the dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them. For the earth shall be wasted, and the cities thereof shall be cast down." And we always tell you that there's gonna be a time of martial law, okay, a time where there's gonna be curfews, right? You saw that during the time of when they had that Boston bombing. They had military troops up and down the streets. People had curfews, even during the time of 9/11. You know how that changed society, and other different events. You know, double Fs, false you know what's, where they bring in the military and different things like that, and give the people curfews. All right, because the scriptures tell us that a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, or the cities are going to be blocked off. All right, this is all coming down the pipe, man. We're literally reading about it, you know? So let's read that again. It says, "There shall be no man left to till the ground and to sow it." No, Salakia. "The dead shall be cast out as the dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down." All right, and remember that it tells us it's gonna be sword, famine, and great confusion. Okay, that's we can also get Isaiah 24. You know, so yeah, brothers, we're entering into a very detrimental time that we have to prepare our minds for, because the only thing we're gonna have in that time is Yahweh Shai, man. Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. That's the only thing we have, period. But it's gonna be a very interesting time in society. Isaiah chapter 24, and I think I might have skipped it. Isaiah 24 and 10. It says, "The city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up that no man may come in. There is a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone." So the city of confusion is broken down, okay? Which is representative of Babylon the Great. And we all know that the mirth of the land is completely gone, okay? These so-called holidays and things that used to be big in this society, it no longer has that reputation, okay? Amongst many other things, even sports. It says, "And the city is left desolation, and the gate is smitten with destruction." So let's skip to verse 21. Isaiah 24 and 21. No, Salakia. Isaiah 24 and 19. "The earth is utterly broken down and dissolved. The earth is utterly broken down. The earth is clean dissolved. The earth is moved exceedingly. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again." And that's not talking about the literal planet Earth. That's talking about the rulership when it says that when it says the transgression thereof is heavy upon it, it shall fall and not rise again. That's talking about this man's rulership, okay? But when it says the earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, that's going to actually take place from the missiles, okay? But when it says it shall fall and not rise again, that's basically representative of Esau, Edom, because we know that through the Lord's Prayer, it says on earth as it is in heaven, right? So his rulership is going to fall and not rise again, but the actual earth is going to reel to and fro like a drunkard. via like we read in 2nd Ezra 16, when it says his arrows that he shooteth are sharp and shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the earth. That's going to cause the earth to reel to and fro like a drunkard. Also, Isaiah 13, they come from a far country, from the end of heaven, from one end of heaven to the other to destroy the whole land, right? Thermonuclear destruction. But just like you read in Isaiah, what is that? How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? Isaiah 14, hey, is this the man that did make the earth to tremble? Right? Because ultimately he's going to be taken out of his power seat, man. Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? That's Esau, right? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend unto heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation and the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. And that goes into the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock. It says, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners? So going back to Isaiah 24, when it says that he's going to fall and not rise again, that's representative of Esau, Edom's rulership. Okay? And that's all a part of all hell breaking loose, man. So this man could be taken down because, I mean, society is literally at an all-time low, man. It's it's freaking bad out here, man. Society's really at an all-time low. And the vibration of America, Babylon the Great is below, okay? The vibration of this place just gives you, you know, headaches, so that's why I say we always have to go harder on the right-hand side as this devil goes harder on the left-hand side, man. And at the end of the day, brothers, when you wake up and you going through your daily walks, in life, you wake up, you go to work, you take care of your kids, you do your thing with your woman, you do your lessons, which ultimately is supposed to come first. And you trying to read, you trying to study, you trying to keep up with current events, keep up with the news. Remember that, this truth comes before, any of that, man. It comes before your kids, comes before your woman, comes before everything, you know? And when you put the truth first, it's easier to stay balanced, you know? It's easier to stay balanced because you ultimately know, like, I did what I had to do, or I'm doing what I got to do. And that's why the scriptures tell us to seek the kingdom of heaven, seek ye the kingdom of heaven first, and all these things shall be added unto you, right? So with that being said, we know all hell is breaking loose. We know all of these things are coming down the pipe. So we have to be spiritually balanced and mentally prepared, So that's pretty much it. All right. So, Lord willing, I'll be able to go live at work tomorrow, because I feel like I got some lessons to do, some making up to do for this sluggish ass week I had. So, with that, Lord willing, you brothers and sisters were edified. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rekah HaKodash. All right, once again, double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth through the Holy Spirit. Peace and blessings and salutations to the elect. All right, it's the Brother Zion signing off. Shalom.